Yorana from Tahiti. As we get closer to the end of our mission here in Tahiti, people keep asking us, so how many missions have you served, and are you going to serve another one after you get home? Senior missions are interesting in so many ways, and most members, particularly seniors themselves, I think, understand little about these missions we serve later in life. I'm sure many seniors are surprised by the lack of structure some senior missions present. In many ways, you've got to find your own way, your own niche. And that's not all bad because it's so similar to life in mortality from the time we are born until the time we pass to the other side of the veil. Our mission has been very structured in our case. My wife, for example, just got off the phone with 3 missionaries who were sick. One had a hard time describing his symptoms, very difficult to know exactly what's going on with him. He just felt sick. Another thought he might have dengue fever, but had none of the symptoms, so he likely does not have dengue fever. And another had all the symptoms of dengue fever: headache behind the eyes, fever of 103, weakness, muscle aches, nausea, etc., all the symptoms. This is, as they say in French, la dengue, dengue fever. After receiving these calls, she needs to record everything she heard from the missionary, sometimes call the medical missionary in New Zealand, and also notify the mission president's wife, who watches over the health of missionaries with my wife. So the past few days, we've been extremely busy with 2 zone conferences, not just those health issues that my wife is constantly dealing with. These zone conferences have 80 missionaries attending each one. We're kind of in charge of the snacks. We provide the snacks. We have to go buy them and bring them and set them out. We have a little helper that helps us, and then we also serve up the meals to these 80 missionaries. We don't have to make the meals, thank goodness. They are catered in, but we have to serve them up and then do the cleanup and then take the pans back to the caterer after it's all over. So these are perhaps, more structured missions, the kind that we have, these office missions. But some senior couples are called to be MLS missionaries, member leader support. These missions are the least structured. So the couple might be assigned to a ward or stake and asked to help wherever they're needed. This can be challenging for some couples, especially at the beginning of their mission. So how do I respond to questions like, so what do you plan to do after your return home? One asked the other day, do you plan to serve another mission after you get back? Sometimes I feel like saying, well, we are in our late 70s, and we still feel that we will actually be very fortunate just to make it home alive from this mission. So no, we do not plan on sending our application in to serve another mission in Central Africa, perhaps. No, I avoid saying this. I do not say these things, but it strikes me like, hey, no, we're not going to Ivory Coast, next week after we get done. Here's what I do say. And this is also the same response to the question people often ask about, how many missions have you served? Same response now every time. We've just served one mission. We began when we were born and will end when we die. Our mission has taken us to different parts of the world at times with a variety of tasks, but we've just served one mission and will continue to serve that mission when we return home. If I shorten my response to 4 words, I would say, life is a mission. I really believe that. When the prophet Joseph prayed to know which church to join, he not only received a response that taught him the truth, but as Elder Bednar recently taught in General Conference, he was also given an assignment to act on that truth. Not only was he instructed to join none of them, but he was also charged to restore Christ's church to the earth. Then, a few years later, when Moroni appeared in his bedroom, Joseph was told that God had a work for him to do. And God has a work for all of us to do. We are all on a mission, all of our life. Sometimes our life's mission requires us to move to a different place, as we were required to move to this little dot in the Pacific Ocean called Tahiti. Other times, we stay at home and serve our mission locally. We don't need to be called as service missionaries, although we might be. But whether we receive a formal call or not, we are all on a mission. Parents are constantly on a mission to rear their children. Children are constantly on a mission to care for one another and their parents. We are all on a continual mission to care for our physical, mental, and spiritual health. And that care changes as we go through different stages in our life. You know, we've come, I don't know how this started, but we started doing videos for Zone Conference, and we always now do a video. And so the mission, is there another video? Did you make a video for our Zone Conference? I mean, it's a little bit funny, actually, because these videos are a little bit humorous at times, but very serious at other times. So they like these videos. This is a video generation. So this time we had to instruct them that the church has to, so this video we just made, we had to tell them that the church has asked them not to engage in bodybuilding. This was a little message the mission president wanted us to put in our video about health. So we have to avoid, the missionaries are counseled to avoid lifting weights or going to a gym. Sometimes this can be quite dangerous if the missionary decides to get very adventuresome and start to press 300 pounds or whatever in his apartment or whatever. So I said, well, we can always do bodybuilding at home using our own body weight. So I demonstrated on the video how you could do strength training at home. Lolly shot a video of me doing 2 push-ups. As she counted kind of fictitiously, she said 25, 26, just to add a little humor to the whole thing. I can't do 25 or 26 push-ups at a time. I have a hard time doing 10. But some were surprised that I could even do 2. One missionary approached me after the Zone Conference and said, wow, you've really motivated me. I'm going to do more exercise. But in all seriousness, this is a lifelong mission to take care of our body, our mind, and our spirit. We all need to ask ourselves periodically, what is my mission right now? Am I filling my mission in the way God intended? This requires personal revelation. We need to get on our knees, humble ourselves before the Lord, and ask for direction. Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now? We all have a mission call to participate in some way in the gathering. You know, there's a sister I see in the Papeete Tahiti temple every time I attend a session or serve as a sealer. She is omnipresent, as are several others. They're always there in the temple. Her name is Sister Opeta. She walks with effort to her next assignment, hunched over with perhaps some osteoporosis in her back, smiling this broad, irresistible smile every time I see her. A true Tahitian, a true disciple. One day in a sealing session she attended with me, which actually lasted 4 hours. She stayed for 4 hours. We sealed over 100 of her ancestors. She is on her life's mission. She doesn't need a name plaque or a formal calling. She knows what the Lord wants her to do with her life, and she's doing it. So the next time someone asks what we'll be doing following our mission, I plan to say the same thing you'll be doing following our mission, serving the Lord wherever and however we can. We'll just continue our mission. And yes, there's uncertainty in all of it. Mortality is full of uncertainty. But I want to seek the Lord's guidance to help me decide how best to spend the precious time we're allotted in this very brief earth life. I want to turn that uncertainty into the kind of certainty that Sister Opeta has. I want to keep serving my life's mission. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.